Hello and welcome to another episode of the Geometrist Plays Vagante. We died pretty early on that last run. That's of course a function of me not really having the best concept of what I'm doing in this game yet. I haven't had the time to put in to be particularly good at it, but I think it'll be okay to start in with the same class. We're going to try and practice with one until we get a little bit better at the game, and then we're going to branch out into things that are potentially more difficult to play as. When I'm still getting used to the controls, I'd much rather simply play one class since they do play fairly differently. And not have to worry so much about whether I actually know what I'm doing control-wise. Let's see. So that guy, I guess, heard us fighting that bat, and it looks like throwing its corpse doesn't do any damage to him. But dropping that box on his head did, which is pretty convenient. That gives us, I guess you can break some rocks and find, healing items. It's probably a Castlevania reference, considering there was a pork chop inside of a block of stone. So we got another one of these plants. You can just easily kill those and not have too much to worry about. Let's drop this barrel down here, and, well, I guess it hit that platform, which means we don't get any benefit out of it. But, okay, so the scroll is a teleport scroll. This could be disastrous, taking us really far down in the dungeon here. I guess this is actually our exit. So, bosses in Vagante are actually optional. You don't have to fight them. You can just leave, but the boss drops a treasure key that opens the big chest on every floor. So you will wind up being better equipped if you actually do fight the bosses to move on. So the teal scroll is an identify scroll, which is very useful. This scroll may be a uncursed scroll, since it is an applied to items scroll, but is not our identify scroll, which we've already used. So moving on, we do conveniently damage enemies who step on a place that we've been now because of the Trailblazer effect on these shoes. I also got lucky and didn't get hit by that trap, even though I didn't see it beforehand. I just happened to not get shot by the arrow. So we did take the deal and sacrifice some HP in order to get stronger again. Let's see how these gloves come up. Grab walls, that's useful. So now we can like slide down walls. Oh, yeah, you don't want an enemy above you, because they can just drop on you and cause problems. I'm taking a lot of damage here, and I'm not very proud of it. This may wind up being another short run at this rate. We should, I guess that pork chop heals you instantly, rather than being something that you can keep in your inventory, which is kind of unfortunate. I was hoping I'd still have some capacity to heal, but with that not being the case, we'll just move on and hopefully find another item that'll do that for us. Okay. So we've got stronger magic right now. That's what the magic courses through you effect means, I assume. I haven't spent any time on the wiki for this game or anything like that, so I'm still pretty new to what's going on here. I do know that the way that the Smith altar works is you put old items on the altar, and if you put enough of them, it converts them into a new item. So we've got the same boss that we had last time. I don't know if that's necessarily always the same, or if you can fight different bosses in this game. It could be interesting to find out, but for now we'll just focus on taking him down and not dying right here, because we are pretty unfortunately close to that potentiality. There's a lot of enemies right here in this same area, and that's making it hard to fight them. And as you can see, you get diminishing returns on repeated down stabs before you hit the ground again. Which makes sense from a balance standpoint. You know, it means that you can't just get on top of enemies and cheese them to death. And really, to be perfectly honest, you still can, just not as quickly. You won't just stack your full damage every time you touch an enemy like that. So we're going to try and use this Ice Ball spell to freeze him and then do as much damage as we can without him being able to retaliate. And that strategy has worked out pretty well for us. We were able to open this chest, find a new pair of boots, which we will identify. I think I would rather... Well, yeah, we'll take the super speed boots and see what happens. So that's a potion of defense, which isn't particularly great for us. Maybe the shopkeep will have a... Nah, he doesn't have anything that I want right now, because ideally I would have been looking for some sort of healing beyond what you get at the end of every floor. In the meantime, we'll drop some items to be burned on the smith statue. We'll drop this wooden club. Unfortunately, that's not enough. I'm reasonably certain that pink scrolls are going to be uncursed, but apparently the smith statue will only take equipable items. So, knowing that, we're just going to move on down and go to the next floor, heal up at the campfire, and hopefully manage to fare a little better going forward. Of course, we haven't taken so much damage. We've only actually taken 30 because we spent half of our HP taking the buff from the sacrifice at that altar. So we'll just light this campfire and have ourselves a nice little sit down. And I am going to level up. Same as last time, but, well, yeah, I think we should still go defense. That ability to block is pretty important. That campfire only healed for, I think, 10, which is not a lot of healing. That enemy fell and took quite a bit of damage and got himself pretty messed up. So, we've got a Book of Magic Missile. I mean, we might as well still read it. We'll turn quick cycling back on so that I can switch back to what I actually want to use. So, I do believe that here, one thing that we'll see is that this boss will very likely wake up before we find him. So there's a bar at the bottom of the screen that fills up slowly as you kill enemies. And if I'm not mistaken, that bar determines when you will fight your boss. So we were able to knock that slime down into the spikes. So as you can see, traps actually do work on enemies as well as on the player. Yeah, so plus strength, plus vitality, and grab walls is better than just plus vitality. We'll also drink another potion of defense here to give ourselves an edge. Now, you've probably noticed that one of the items that we got had protection from death. And what this means is that the first time we die, that item will break and will come back to life. Now, that's good for making this a longer run, making it not last all of 10 minutes while I just capitulate and die. Yeah, I would like to buy this ring if I can accrue 100 currency on this floor. Looks like that's not actually a secret down there or anything. It's just... okay, this is nasty. I don't want super speed for this. Because if I touch those traps, I'm going to die horribly. Because those do one-shot you. Oh, Lord. Yep. That's exactly what I was afraid of. So there was an enemy that we hadn't seen yet who just knocked us back down into there, and that blew our protection from death. And in my experience, usually deaths in this game happen in exactly that way. They happen because you fall into a trap rather than as a result of you getting killed by an enemy and losing all your HP. Now, fortunately, I do have some degree of poison resistance from the Snake Eater background, but I still wouldn't count on beating this boss. It's in a fairly inconvenient spot, which makes it very hard to fight, and that death protection did not heal me to full, or even come remotely close to that. I've gotta also deal with the normal enemies which are still around. Yeah, if I get hit 2 more times by that attack, I'm going to die. So, don't expect this to go on for very much longer than it already has. Yeah, there it is. Vagante is a much harder game, I think. Death comes very swiftly in Vagante. And so, until I really play this a lot and get a lot better at it, these runs are probably only going to last for about this much time. I am going to post them all as separate videos since my other content is really long form. This will be something more piecemeal for you guys to just digest in smaller chunks. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like the videos, if you want to see more. Feel free to give me any advice that you have on the game in the comments, and I'll see you next time.